A lock of hair, 5 centimeters long, sat sealed in a Smithsonian drawer for over a century. Dry, brittle, stored at room temperature, the kind of sample most labs would have written off as useless. It was holding 2 different secrets anyway. One would confirm a family. The other would unravel something much bigger. Where the Sioux actually came from, and how far back that story really goes. And it doesn't stop where you'd expect. Most people think they already know how it ends. They don't. For generations, the Sioux have been remembered one way: the Plains warriors who mastered life on the open grasslands, who stood against the U.S. Army, who are forever tied to the Battle of Little Bighorn. Sitting Bull stands at the center of that image, a name that became shorthand for Native American resistance. It's not a wrong picture. It's the last page of a much longer book, one that starts thousands of miles east and thousands of years earlier than almost anyone realizes. Almost nobody has read the first chapter. That first secret came first. In 2021, a team led by geneticist Eska Willerslev at the University of Cambridge took on Sitting Bull's hairlock, returned to his descendants, Ernie LaPointe and his 3 sisters, in 2007.
The genetic code, and try to reconstruct this individual.
A century at room temperature had shredded most of the DNA inside it into fragments, too small for any existing method to use. So Willerslev's team spent nearly 14 years building one that could. A way of recovering autosomal DNA, the kind inherited equally from both parents, from almost nothing at all. When they compared it against LaPointe's own DNA, it matched. For the first time, ancient DNA had confirmed a direct link between a named historical figure and a living descendant. That was the story everyone expected to find. The second one was hiding in the same sample, and it had nothing to do with any one family. Researchers also study mitochondrial DNA, passed almost unchanged from mother to child across thousands of years, sorted into what geneticists call haplogroups. Native Americans carry 5 major ones: A, B, C, D, and X. The first 4 trace a clean line back through Siberia and across the Beringia land bridge during the last ice age, the backbone of how the peoples of the Americas have been explained for decades. Haplogroup X refuses to fall in line. Its Native American branch, X2A, turns up in roughly a quarter of Ojibwe mtDNA, and in the Sioux, at almost exactly the rate a 1998 study first found, 15%, identified by geneticist Michael Brown and colleagues in Douglas Wallace's lab, published in the American Journal of Human Genetics. 15% is not a rounding error. Something put it there. What puzzled researchers wasn't that X2A existed, it was where its ancestors had gone missing. Every relative haplogroup X has anywhere else on Earth, clusters in West Eurasia, the Near East, the Caucasus, Southern Europe. In northeastern Siberia, the exact region every other Native American lineage passes through on its way from Asia, X2A has no close match, none at all. So, where did it actually come from? 3 explanations, and each one was supposed to close the case. The first, the Solutrean hypothesis, argued that small groups from Ice Age Europe crossed the frozen North Atlantic directly, and that X2A is the fingerprint they left behind. Geneticists Jennifer Raff at the University of Kansas and Deborah Bolnick at the University of Texas at Austin spent years testing that claim against the actual genetic record. Their 2015 conclusion, published in Paleo America, was blunt. X2A has never been found in Europe at all, not once. They pointed to a case that made the point even harder to dispute: the complete genome of Kennewick man, one of the oldest and most fully sequenced skeletons ever recovered in North America, belonging to the deepest, oldest branch of X2A yet identified, sequenced that same year by a team led by Eska Willerslev, the same geneticist who would confirm Sitting Bull's descendant 6 years later. If the Solutrean crossing were real, this is exactly where its signature should show up strongest. It found nothing, no trace of recent European ancestry, and the oldest branch of the lineage rooted on the Pacific coast. not the Atlantic. A second explanation moved the story to Beringia itself, with X2A evolving inside an isolated population that survived only in the Americas, while the same lineage vanished in Asia. Plausible, unprovable. A third possibility arrived from an unexpected direction: ancient genomes pulled from Kamchatka in far northeastern Siberia, carrying unmistakably Native American ancestry. Beringia, it turned out, was never only a one-way bridge. Here's what all three explanations, for all their disagreement, actually share. None of them puts a drop of recent European ancestry into Native American DNA. Whichever path X2A took, it took it thousands of years before Columbus, alongside everything else. That much, at least, is settled. Where X2A actually originated is not, and the next discovery only made the question bigger. In 2014, researchers sequenced the genome of a boy who died 24,000 years ago near Malta in south-central Siberia. He belonged to a population unlike any alive today, the ancient North Eurasians. When his genome was compared against modern Native Americans, the number that came back was startling. 14 to 38% of Native American ancestry traces to a population closely related to him, not from later contact, but from a Siberian population that carried this signature thousands of years before Europe or the Americas looked anything like they do now. It didn't solve the X2, a mystery. It did something almost more unsettling. It revealed that the mystery was bigger than one haplogroup all along. The genetic trail runs parallel to a geographic one almost nobody learns in school, and it's been sitting in plain sight the whole time. The Sioux didn't start on the plains at all. Their own oral histories point east to forests, rivers, and earthworks, and linguists tracing the Siouan language family place its homeland around the Ohio River Valley and the upper Mississippi, centuries before a single Sioux band had ever seen a horse. Archaeological sites across Minnesota confirm it. Farming, fishing, permanent settlements, nothing like the mounted hunters everyone pictures. That was the Sioux for longer than the Plains warrior image has existed at all. Then, in less than one human lifetime, almost none of it would still be visible. Ojibwe communities, newly armed through European trade, pushed west into the Great Lakes in the early 18th century, and the pressure forced Sioux groups out of Minnesota and Wisconsin entirely into open country they'd never had reason to call home. At almost the same moment, the horse arrived, carried north through indigenous trade networks generations after the Spanish first brought it to the continent, passed from nation to nation long before any Sioux band ever saw a European in person. Within scarcely more than 100 years, woodland farmers had become some of the most formidable mounted warriors in North America. By Little Bighorn in 1876, the culture the world now calls Sioux, the one etched into every textbook and film, was barely older than living memory. None of this makes the familiar story false. It makes it the final chapter of one that started thousands of years and thousands of miles earlier. Forced removals, boarding schools, generations of deliberate cultural suppression. Through every attempt to erase it, something kept moving quietly forward anyway, carried in DNA no policy could touch. Ernie LaPointe's confirmed descent from Sitting Bull was never only a scientific result. It was proof that a family's memory and its biological record had been telling the same story the whole time, through everything that tried to sever it. The larger genetic thread does the same thing at continental scale. Woodland forests, the Great Plains, Ice Age Siberia, and a 14-year DNA project. All one unbroken line, with one piece of it, X2A's true origin, still unwritten. That lock of hair sat in a drawer for over a century before anyone had the tools to read what it held. The rest of the story isn't missing either. Somewhere in a lineage that skipped a continent or a genome still waiting to be sequenced, it's just waiting for someone to ask the right question next.